Support for this podcast and the following message come from Gaia.com, the on-demand streaming TV service that helps you achieve your highest potential at your convenience. To get your first month at only 99 cents, visit gaia.com/my7chakras. My 7 Chakras, episode 210.
It's not about me. I think it's a very powerful statement for us all to learn.
The 7 chakras, swirling vortices of energy, positioned throughout our body from the base of the spine to the crown of the head. For thousands of years, this ancient wisdom has been passed on from master to disciple. What are the functions of these energy centers? And could these chakras help you unlock your destiny and find your true purpose? Welcome to My 7 Chakras. And now, your host, Aditya Jai Kumar.
What's up, Action Taker? AJ here, founder and host of My 7 Chakras, the show where we dive deep into the ancient world to uncover nuggets of wisdom that will help you find your life's purpose. So if you've stumbled upon a new way of living and a new way of thinking and you want answers to some of the mysteries that lie around us, then you are listening to the right episode. And if you've listened to any of our previous shows before, you know that it is iTunes review time. So let's listen to recent iTunes review. Today's review is by a person named Meredith. In fact, the username is Meredith0 or O 1975. I discovered the show about a month ago and I'm totally hooked. Anyone interested in bettering oneself and one's life should make this show a priority. It has expanded my knowledge of my existing interests and has inspired new interests and passions as well. I cannot recommend this show enough. Action Tribe, if this is the first time you're listening to our show, then make sure you press subscribe and stay notified of new episode releases. And if you want to write your own review, then it's super simple. Just go to my7chakras.com/review. That's my7chakras.com/review. And if you've been on the fence till now about writing a review, maybe you don't consider yourself a tech savvy person or you just don't know how, now is your moment to take action because I've made it super simple. And with that out of the way, let's bring on our special guest for today, Marilyn O'Malley. So Marilyn, are you ready to inspire?
I am, definitely. Very happy to be here. Thank you, AJ.
Sounds great. So Marilyn O'Malley is an empowerment coach for creative and sensitive women who love, live, and matter, but struggle with relationships, professional growth, financially, life and work balance, well-being, and spirituality. She wants to reframe how the world views highly sensitive people from Shine Week to superheroes with superpowers. Action Tribe, this is Marilyn's second appearance on My 7 Chakras. Her first appearance was way back in episode 18, when we began our show, during which she spoke about energy healing, visualization, and manifestation. So if you're not listened to that episode already, you can go to my7chakras.com/Marilyn O'Malley, MarilynO'Malley. And today we revisit some of the topics that we spoke about in our previous episode with a deeper emphasis on attracting wealth and abundance, because that is such an important topic that doesn't get much focus. So that was what I wanted to focus on. Marilyn, thank you so much for joining me on our show again. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing great, and I'm really excited, and I think we're living in an incredible time in the world right now, and that's one of the reasons I'm so excited about really creating a movement around reframing how we see highly sensitives in the world, to seeing them as the superheroes of today with their superpowers to solve the world's problems, because that's what our abilities as highly sensitive. So I'm feeding off of a lot of energy around that, and I just feel like we're in a very creative, innovative, life-changing, energy-changing time in the world, and that all the stuff that we're seeing break down is breaking down so we can build new, right? You have to have a breakdown before you can have a breakthrough. So I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great. I love that you said that you need to break down before you experience a breakthrough. That's so profound. It sort of reminds me of the transformation of a caterpillar to a butterfly. Yes. You have to go past your comfort zone. You have to break through, or break down, in fact, that sheath that was protecting you keeping you in the same space for so many years. And only when you break through that, not knowing at times what that might lead to, can you transform into your own version of butterfly. And it's so amazing. I keep chatting about this with all my guests that we are living in amazing times. So thanks a lot for reminding us. And let's begin with the first part of the show, which is all about inspiration. What is your favorite inspirational quote, and how does that apply in your life?
Well, it's not a quote, other than it's something that I always tell myself, and it's not about me. And there's two ways that I use this. Number one, because this helps me break through. Have that breakthrough or break down the barriers that my ego or my perfectionist self would want to put up so that I'm not seen. I can't get out and talk. Like, I wouldn't want to be on the show because I'd be afraid that somebody might hear me make a mistake, or I wouldn't look as good as I want to look in front of everybody. And this I have been living by is just reminding myself that the work that I'm doing is not about me. It's all about you, all your listeners and everybody out there in the world, that whoever I'm supposed to be working with and helping and inspiring and motivating and giving a kick in the butt, that it's not about me, it's about them. And that helps me do my best work. That helps me be my best self. And just also in relationships, it's like people, we're all individuals. And I think so many times, and we're living in a very narcissistic world, right now, that everybody thinks everything's about them. And when we can start thinking differently, like it's that person is angry, but they're in pain, and it's not about me. And so how can I, not be attached to their pain? Number one, because that distracts me from me and taking care of me, but also then it becomes, codependent or something like that. Or we start throwing judgments. It creates a healthy boundary. And then you can be more, can I help you, or do you need to go through this process on your own for your own growth, rather than thinking, oh, how can I help take care of them so I'm not feeling their pain or their anger or whatever. And then they don't get to go through their process of discovering their own growth. So, so that's how it's not about me. I think it's a very powerful statement for us all to learn.
So actually, Drive, the ego mind is always thinking about how you are going to be perceived and what people will think about you. And it's all about you. But if you really want to make a difference in the world, and if you want to develop the strength to make a difference, then you must realize that it's not always about you, but it's about the people who want to know the information that you currently have and you've been dedicating your life for maybe the last few years to collecting. And if you put that focus on them, and if you have that objective viewpoint of how you will get opportunities to serve the world, then you will realize that you are more powerful, because it's really not about you, it's about them. So thanks a lot for sharing that amazing quote with us. In fact, you said that we're living in a very narcissistic world, which is really true. I just saw a trailer of a new movie that's going to be released, which has Salma Hayek, I think, in the movie. And I think she's a Reiki healer, and she's very honest and upfront about her thoughts and feelings. And it's a wonderful juxtaposition of somebody like her versus somebody who's more on the narcissistic side of things. So it's something I'm looking forward to. It's just going to be released, I think, in a couple of months. But having said that, let's dive into our topic for today, which is money, which is wealth, which is abundance. And they say that money is a form of energy, right? So what are your thoughts on that?
Yes. Okay, so I can go all over the place. So first I'm going to say that we form our money beliefs when we're children. So I want to say money is intertwined with your beliefs about yourself and your relationships. It forms who you think you are. So there is not just money. And I see a lot. One of the areas that I would love all the millennials who are listening to this, who are saying money is not important, or their relationship with it is kind of like, I don't want it. That's not the important thing. This is the important thing. I want you to please listen to this, because it's not about Money is not about just buying things or getting things or manipulating people and stuff with it. It really has to do with how you see yourself and how you see your relationships to others and yourself to the world. And a lot of those beliefs are formed in our early childhood. And so if you could just imagine this little boy or girl, right, is all the things you go through, and you don't even, you're not even aware that you're necessarily forming beliefs because you're not really conscious about what's going on until you're like somewhere between 7 and 9 years old. So, but whatever's happening in your family, however your mother and dad relate to each other, how they talk about money, your situation in life, how you see people have and have not, whether your parents got divorced, what was that like? Did dad have more money and mom had less money, or the opposite? How was money, if you had money, was it used to manipulate? Does money represent that you weren't loved because your father didn't pay child support, or your mother never shared the money that she got? She just gave, just did the basics. And this is all related with the emotional support you got at that time too. So it's not just about the factor of money. It's all the psychological and emotional things that are going on. And just think, as a child, you're a sponge until you're somewhere between 7 and 9 years old, to where all of a sudden your consciousness comes in and you can go, yeah, that's right and that's wrong. But now you already have a foundation that's not really you. It's everybody else's stuff that you've taken in, and you're have made a vow, and a vow is a deep belief or a deep statement, like marriage vows, that you say to yourself, I'm going to be loyal to my family in order to be safe and secure. First chakra, safety, security, loyalty to the family. So there's a lot of different vows that we make that are related to money, having to do with how we're brought up and all the things that I just shared with you, that relate to the age that we make a vow, and they're related to the different chakras, and particularly the lower chakras, because the first 3 chakras, that's where our power is, our personal power. It defines who we are, what we believe about our lives, what we believe about ourselves, and what we believe about our world, which has money, relationships, career, all of those things, how the world perceives us and how we're perceiving the world. So just the main point I want to make here is, so I always give this example, like a little kid, if you ask them and they haven't learned math yet, and you show them on a piece of paper, what's 1 and 1 equal? Well, they might put the 2 ones together and it says 11, but really we know 1 plus 1 equals 2. Well, so that's just the brain of the child in using whatever information that it has. So that if none of those beliefs and vows and thinking about ourselves evolves, meaning that you pay attention and you reprogram what is incorrect, what isn't true, then you're bringing that little child's concepts through your subconscious mind, which is, carries forward with you. And that's how you're perceiving the world now, through that filter of that little kid inside of you, right? And so even though the adult is operating out there and doing things, this is no matter what it does, it keeps having these experiences. Let's say you can't save money, right? You're really having trouble saving money. It doesn't matter. You could be making a ton of money, and I've had all different clients. They've had lots of money, or they just make enough money to get by. Well, your savings. So if we look at money, we're looking at your program beliefs, habitual thoughts, the emotions around it, and then you usually have some type of trauma around it. And that, again, could be having to do with money or not having to do with money, and somehow it related your personal value. So we'll just say savings. What I see a lot is that people can't save money because savings means having money means it reminds them either they're not loved, They weren't loved, they weren't supported as a child. It reminds them of that there was anger or problems, so it's kind of like a hot potato. Like, I don't want this. And they won't know why. They'll just say, oh my God, anytime I get any extra money in my savings account, I feel so uncomfortable. And they'll say, it isn't like you like just give it away, but what do you end up doing? Your car breaks down. There's something that's, you go clothes shopping, or you just do things to get rid of it, or there's somehow something happens so that you never have the saving. And so what a lot of times I'll do is I'll ask, and the people that are listeners, what you can do is you can write down, here's a little activity you can do, is write down how much money's in your savings account. And then notice what you're feeling. What's showing up in your body when you look at that amount. And it's really important that you write it down and you look at it. And then, so here's what most people feel, right? So these are the feelings. They feel sadness, anxiety, grief, embarrassment, shame, disappointment, loss, worry, fear. They don't feel safe or secure. They feel desperate. It's not fair. And then when those things are running through them, then they start to, so what would be the statements that might be going on? I don't feel safe. I've never feel taken care of. I'm not enough. I don't know how to do this. I hear that a lot. I'm a failure. It's not fair. It's not enough. Why me? So all of those statements, come up in a variety of ways. It's amazing what people think about themselves when they think about money. So see how it's a number in a savings account, and all of a sudden we've got this stock pot full of all these negative associations with it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So before moving on, I'm going to just summarize what has been shared so far, so we don't lose the audience. But what you're saying basically is we form our money beliefs as children. Money beliefs are intertwined with our identity and our relationship with the world around us. And what I'm getting is, what you're trying to say is money itself is useless. It's just paper. But the presence of money allows us to do good or to do bad. And as children, we're sort of meaning-making machines. We're sponges, like you so eloquently said. We absorb and learn how people are thinking about or talking about money. And even though we've grown old, even though we've become adults, we're viewing money or what we can do with money through the same filter of our inner child. So unless we work on our subconscious belief systems, unless we do the activities that you've told us to do, sort of, write down our bank savings, feel the emotions, write down statements of what those emotions, what we're feeling, and make sense out of it all, and then take action. Unless we do those activities and things, we're still that same child who's trying to make sense of the world around him or her, and looking at his parents and talking about money in certain ways. So yeah, that makes sense. But I've heard this term called money block, and I think you also speak about that. What is the money block in this context?
Well, so the block is the limited feel, like I'm not enough. Why me? So it's how we think and feel about ourselves. Those are our blocks, and most of them are subconscious. Like do you feel worthy to have and receive things from people? So so some of the blocks. So if I was to say, I'm sorry that I can get three thoughts going in my mind, crashing in my head at the same time, and I have to think how to say this. And remember, I'm speaking to people that might know nothing about this. So the blocks are beliefs and feelings that we have, habitual thoughts, programmed beliefs, and emotions that run through us all the time. So, and concerning money, so anytime you think about money, savings, you go to pay for something and you look in your wallet or bring out your credit card, you have an association with that money. And so it brings up, actually what happens, so the block, what it does, it puts you into fight or flight. Oh my God, I'm not enough. Oh my God, I don't have enough. I'm not worthy of this. I see a lot of people that I think with our somewhat of our narcissistic society, and then also there's a lot of perfectionism out there. People wanting to appear perfect or thinking that they keep having to show up a certain way, right? That is tripping everybody up, and again that puts them in fight or flight. And that I'm not perfect enough. I didn't do perfect enough work to ask for the amount of money that my time and energy is worth. And so I can't ask for more until I'm perfect. And so here are some of the vows that we make as children that I think will help you see. And these are our blocks to money. So, and as I said earlier, sometimes they have nothing to do with the money itself, but this is, money plays a part in it. So you make a vow to never be vulnerable. So if you grew up in a family, like maybe you had a parent who was super needy, and you didn't get, and so, or a narcissist, or you were, every time you asked for something, it was like, who do you think you are? No, you can't have, we can't afford that, so that you finally realize I need to stop asking because this hurts to ask and not get my needs met. And so you make a vow, I will never be vulnerable. I'll never be needy. I won't ask for help, and so that right there, if you can't be vulnerable and you can't be needy, then that means you can't get your needs met, right? And so, like, if you have a need to make X amount of dollars a month to really to live your life authentically, and that means having pleasure, that means having more than enough, that means living in a place that really nurtures you, really living, not just getting by. You won't allow yourself to have that. You won't allow yourself to make that money because you can't ask for help. So if you're an entrepreneur and you feel like you have to do everything on your own, you can't have other people come in and help you. You see a lot of those people who are walking around being like, I got to be really strong. I can't ask anybody. And this is males and females. I was one of these. I can't ask for help because I'm going to look weak and I don't want to be vulnerable. And a lot of highly sensitives are, we're thought of as weak and shy and all this. And so we start disappearing and we start making this, well, I'm not going to stand out because it doesn't feel safe, because people are going to make fun of me, or they're going to tell me things about myself that I don't want them to see me crying, being moved at a beautiful sunset or a happy commercial. Right. And so we'll say, okay, I'm never going to be vulnerable in front of people. So you're never going to let people know that you don't feel strong or you don't feel good about yourself. You're not going to ask for help. So that's one of the vows. So another one is I'll never ask for what you need and desire, again, so it doesn't feel safe. You'll make a vow to be perfect in order, again, it plays in it is you make a vow to never feel your power or never be powerful, because you either got punished as a kid for really being yourself. I have a lot of people that are like, oh my God, I just love to dance and sing, but you ended up having a parent who was maybe depressed or didn't have time and was just, come on, stop it, you're too much, you're driving me crazy, not meaning to hurt them, but it shut them down. And so they said, all right, I won't be myself. I'll be who you want me to be. And so when we give our power like that, then we feel broken, we feel worthless. It keeps us in fear. And you don't want you feel like if you're in power, then somehow you're hurting somebody else or you're taking time away from somebody else. So you make a vow to get even. So this happens a lot when, like, a very wounded child, and then they grow up and be an adult leader, and they're like, I'm going to get even with you guys. I'm going to show you. So that can happen. You make a vow to never be angry. I know a lot of women make this vow, and anger has to do with that, with fear. We make vows, I'm not going to feel anymore. And so a lot of people are shutting down, because to really feel and be in your energy, you would have to feel everything, right? but people don't know how to manage that, so it feels overwhelming. So all of those vows are made because first chakra, it doesn't feel safe. You have to do the tribe thing. So a lot of men, particularly, I would say, look and see, are you believing that you can't make more money than your father or somebody in your family? You can't have more than your family has. That's a big issue for a lot of people. Some people around the money and first chakra is, I don't want to make a lot because my family would take it because whatever's mine is theirs. So people will be like, nope, I just make enough to pay everything else. I can't have any more. And they don't even know that they're doing this, right? Second chakra is like around the money might be, again, the relationship. I'm not good enough. I don't matter. I'm not worthy of it. And it could be, but also it's, what do we want to say here around the money is, so you don't believe like you can shine, that you can stand out. It doesn't feel safe. Again, if you don't feel safe in first chakra, don't feel secure, and you have to go along with the family. So for you to start to stand out feels very, start to stand out on your own and create your own identity feels very unsafe. And so, again, that will keep you, if you're an entrepreneur, business owner, from going out and speaking, from sharing, sales. It's hard for sales because you can't, you feel like it's improper for you to say, I have this, you want it, to shine your light, to be big out there because, again, of those other vows, because I promised that I would not be in my power. I wouldn't be vulnerable, and I'm not going to ask for what I need. It just, see how it just keeps building on each other. And then you might think the world is not a safe place. So it's not safe for you to, people don't understand me. I'm not lovable. So that means I'm not likable. I don't feel connected. So there's lots of these different ways of feeling and being in the world that are affecting our ability to create and manifest money in our lives.
Got it. So really quickly, you mentioned a couple of things over here. A lot of men, or maybe women as well, have this belief that you cannot make more than your parents, or your earning ability somehow is limited to how much they used to make. You said that there's a subconscious belief that if they make more, then their family will take it, which is not a logical belief, but then it's within the subconscious, and the fact that people a lot of times feel that they are not good enough. And these, like you've mentioned, are vows that are made during childhood, and which makes sense for people to identify what the vows are really, or maybe write it down. So what does a person do when they have these vows and know that, okay, these are some money blocks that are existing in my life? What can they do about it in order to transform their relationship with money?
Right. So first of all, just seeing them and seeing that they're there is like a big, I see for a lot of people, it's like, oh my God, all of a sudden they can see how much shame they were holding, or, that they feel better about themselves. They get like, just by finding them and understanding or just hearing what I'm saying, then you can go, oh my gosh, all right, it's not me. These are things I've learned. My money is not me, how it's showing up right now. So you can start taking action. Look, do the money map with me. But some of the things you can do is, I'm trying to think what they can do on their own, because a lot of times you can't find these things on your own. It's like that's the hard part. And so it's finding somebody like myself who can help dig. What I'm looking for is the root. So I'm looking for one of these roots about, where you don't feel safe. When I work, I'm looking at each of the chakras and what would be the vows you made there, and you're telling me how your life is. But I do an EFT tapping, so that's one. So if anybody has money issues, and you can go on my YouTube site, and there's all sorts of I don't feel safe for around these vows. I don't feel safe, and then there's also I'm not enough, and then there's just some regular ones on money. There's a lot there around these money beliefs and around savings and debt. So you can just go on and start tapping along with me, and I will be saying things, but as you and it's described in each of the videos, you can see what comes up for you, and then just substitute something in there. But you might the first time just go along with me to help, and I'll help you like open up that gate so you can start to get into that space, and you can be, oh, I feel this, I feel that. Yeah, but I think looking at it, each of these, I think going through the process is probably been the most, going through a process with somebody who can see these, because otherwise it's time consuming. But on the easier level, like I said, go to YouTube, follow some of my money programs in there on savings, on debt, on money, on the self-esteem stuff, on the vows. Those are easy ways to get in and just get started on that. But just, I think, recognizing, just again, this is why I'm saying millennials, look at your money. Like, when the bills come in, do you just put them to the side, like you don't even open them, and it's like, you put up a big, like they're kryptonite to you, right? And so just understand that that's like kryptonite to your whole life. Then you're like, you put up a shield and you have this, you just put yourself into fight or flight, which we can't be creative when we're in fight or flight. We can't be productive or do any healing, and it just gets us spinning. So just realizing, oh, I have some stress around my money, and the more I can relieve my stress around money and get clear about what it means to me, and get clear about who I am, then I can manifest so much more easily in the world, and I can start receiving. This is a big thing for anybody that's having money trouble, is you have to become a good receiver. And so that means asking for help. That means it's okay to be needy and have needs and get them met. It means that it's okay to self-care, to give yourself pleasure and be who you are. It's all right to be vulnerable, and it's great to set healthy boundaries and set goals. But you've got to receive, and that's even so. It's not just around money. It's about receiving love, receiving compliments. Somebody gives you a gift. So many people I want this. Oh, I really want to go to this concert. And somebody says, oh, I'll take you. And they'll be like, oh, no, I can't let you buy that ticket to me. It's like they want something, and then they say it, and then they push it away. And then they just think, and that's happening because they don't think they're worth it, or they've got a thing about, I can't take anything from somebody else because maybe then I'll owe them something. See, there's all these little unconscious things that are going on. And I don't want to be in debt by anybody because then that means they can control me, and, kind of runs on to this story. But
so Action Tribe, really quickly, if you want to send me to a concert, then I have no problems at all. I love to receive. And if you're really interested in sending me to a concert, not Taylor Swift, but some other concert, then I will be more than happy to go and represent you. But that's such an important point to think about, Marilyn, is sometimes we think about an intention and it comes into our life, but that reciprocity taps into our mind, which is not a bad thing, but we need to learn how to receive. Now, you spoke about EFT and tapping, and I'm guessing that a lot of people might be, especially people who are new to this space, thinking, I've heard of ET, but what is EFT now? So could you, talk to us a bit about what EFT is and how that relates to tapping?
Yeah, it's emotional freedom technique, and it basically you're tapping on the meridians on the face and chest area, and the top of the head. So on the head and chest. I do it a little bit different. I don't do all the areas that everybody else, like the sides and the hands. But you're tapping on meridian points, acupressure points, that and when you tap on them and you are, so say I'm working with somebody on, I'm going to see if for like negative self-talk, right? So I would be talking, I might start out, and as imagine that we're pulling a root. So I'm looking for, when I talk to people and I'm working with them, I'm pulling out all of the wording, feelings, emotions, all the negative limiting stuff that's going on with them. And so in order to do that, so then I can come back and do the tapping with them or do another type of energy work with them. So like tapping would be, people would be tapping through these various points, and as we do that, and the person I'm working with would be following me, and so it would be like tapping on a point, like at the beginning of all this heavy self-judgment, and then the person would say, all this heavy self-judgment. I should have done it better. I should have done it better. I keep screwing up. I must be missing something. So I am helping her talk about that root problem. And we keep going deeper and deeper until we're like pulling it out. And we're going to the shame and everything. We're not holding back on anything, because as we do this, so say her thing was, I'm not good enough. And it was a 9 out of 10. So 10 being very, very true, and a 1 being, no, I'm not, I don't really, I might once a year think I'm not good enough. And so what we do is we keep doing that, and it happens fairly quickly that we get you down to a 1 or a 0. That when you start to think, like, a lot of times we're cracking up because I'll go, so I'll say, okay, say I'm not good enough now. And she'll go, I'm not good. She goes, I can't believe I used to think that. Like, you just can't find it, right? And, so I'll give you an example. And so whether you have money or not, it's like I had this attorney, actually like a tax attorney, did very well in their business. But the thing is that they made lots of money. They had clients that were not losing any money, and they weren't suffering from it, but she wasn't billing her clients. And so she didn't have money coming in on a regular basis. And because she didn't have that money coming in, she was like spending. There was a what do I want to say? A blocked part of her that made her feel like she had to go out and spend, and then she started hiding it, like from her husband and stuff. And she was, very, very big professional woman. And so once we did this work and we got to the root of her problem, it was like very quickly she enrolled. She started to put a whole system in place and had her assistant. She had people that could do this, but she just unconsciously was self-sabotaging herself to not do it. And so once she could see, and it wasn't her, and she wasn't a bad person, and the money had nothing to do with her, it was this unconscious programming driving it. And so she, like, within the first month, she paid off $10,000. She was getting, it was just like the money was flowing in. She made more money than she had made in her life. Coming in on a regular basis, settled everything, and now she feels good about life. I know, AJ, for you, like when you started, did you notice, particularly like with the receiving, did you notice when there was a shift for you in having more abundance and wealth? And this is what we're talking. We're not just talking money. This is wealth. And wealth is friendships, like I said in the very beginning. Money is related to your friends, how you feel about it. So if you feel good and charismatic and lit up in your life, and you don't have all these blocks, these negative feelings and thoughts within you, then you're lit up. You're horny for life. People are going like, geez, what's going on with you? You're just lit up. And that will happen naturally. There isn't anything you have to go out there and get. Once you start taking these blocks off that are kind of, smothering your life force energy, you're naturally going to be more radiant and more energetic. And it's like wealth of like, oh, I want to travel, or your sense of humor will grow, and your ideas and creativity will come because you're not in that fight or flight, and you've got friends, you're more playful, and you take better care of yourself, and you pay attention to your needs. You're as giving and loving to yourself as you are to other people. So there's just things that you get to know in this process that creates that wealthy life. You just see how rich your life is, even if you don't have a lot of money yet, but your experiences, if you added them all up, would be outrageously, wealthy.
So, I mean, since you were asking me, the way I look at it is that the universe always wants to send you something. It wants to send you an experience, or send you a resource, or send you somebody who might help you with your journey, because it knows exactly what you're thinking, right? Because your thoughts cannot be hidden from the universe. But sometimes we block those intuitive nudges. We block those gifts unknowingly. And so what I've been working on is, and in many ways I'm still working on some of my belief systems, but really, like you mentioned, just acknowledging that yes, those inner beliefs do exist. But how do you, like, if you take out those beliefs, there's nothing that can exist in vacuum, right? So you need to replace them with empowering beliefs and make it a habit. So that's what I've been trying to do over the last couple of months, is recognizing that the universe always wants to send you abundance, and just stepping into whatever it has in store for you, but at the same time taking out those limiting beliefs that are preventing me, keeping me scarce, and keeping me, where I am. Now, I want to talk about the presence of debt in our lives. According to you, how does that affect our ability to attract abundance, the presence of debt, financial debt?
Well, it depends. It all depends on your mindset around debt and what kind of debt you have, because you could be, you could be like a Donald Trump, right? Before he was president, he went bankrupt a few times, but besides that, it's just like he never feels bankrupt. It's just part of business in some ways. He's always come back and made more money than he lost the first time. But it's thinking about, some people that own a house, it's not, you might have a mortgage, but that to them, that's not a debt. So it's all about how you look at it. And debt has a lot to do. So this is a fascinating thing. Remember, we talked about savings has to do with, how you look at things and feel about things, and whether you're good enough, and et cetera. Debt has to do with battle, anger, or feeling of betrayal. So sometimes, that is like there's a lack of forgiveness. There's, I know for me, I've seen a lot of people I've worked with when they've had debt, it's like they feel like they're the world's against them, or they have to like battle with their parents. There's always I don't know, do you know some people like that just like everything's a battle. and they don't feel the flow. They're not in the flow. And there's a lot of anger, unexpressed anger and stuff there. But and debt. So debt stresses you out, again, the major stress, and it has to do with, so it would be like, I'm a loser, I'm an idiot, I'm a failure, I'm worthless, I'm not good enough to be financially free, there's avoidance, I don't deserve to be happy, I should have known better, feelings around it are shame, fear, embarrassment, failure, anxiety, sadness, overwhelm, and again, what to do is like not, again, what you avoid, what you resist persists. And so it's to embrace it. Like I say, we are all brilliant, juicy messes. We're brilliant. We come in with that soul, and that's our brilliance and whatever we bring with that. And then our juiciness is who we are as a human being on earth, and how we show up with that. And our messiness is our shadows, what we're working out. And that's who we are. And we just all got to get that we're all messy. There's nobody who is not messy. Even the Dalai Lama gets angry and is messy, so everybody has some messiness, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's our messiness is our lessons to learn here in life. Our challenges, not to take us down, but to lighten us up. And so in the debt, so if you look at the debt, it's just like, so, okay, this is where I am right now. And if you start to love money as you love yourself, and money's here to support you, express yourself in the world. So just think, money is like not to be battled. You're not waking up to pay the bills. You're waking up to, what we talked about, to love, live, and matter. You're waking up to express, inspire, motivate, teach, whatever it is that is your purpose in the world. You're here to do that. And so let money help you do that in the best way. I need a really nurturing environment for me. I need to feel really grounded. I need to feel pampered and have good food. And the more work I do, the more people I need. But I am a fine-tuned machine, and this needs special attention. And everybody's a fine-tuned machine, and they need their special attention. And we need to become, narcissistic in the way that we do self-care, but more expansive in the it's not about me in the way that we relate with everybody else, and not the other way around, which I see a lot of people doing. So debt, looking at debt, again, deal with these issues about how you're feeling and thinking about yourself, so you can stop and get yourself out of that fight or flight. You can go on my YouTube and find something on there on debt, or go look up also on my blog. So just type in savings or debt, and I have these exercises in there too, I believe, or else I have videos taking you through stuff and talking on that, so that it will help you, process that if you can't work with me, or find somebody else to work through this stuff. It's looking at money, that it's just a means to becoming more you. And so, just starting to make a plan to pay off the debt, and allowing yourself to receive more money so you can pay off the debt quicker. And going to the banks and asking, how can you have this much debt, or a car, finding out how can everything be consolidated, and maybe even some of it taken off. There's like amazing, the universe will support you when you start taking action and just saying, okay, how can I get rid of a big chunk of this really quickly, and just listen then and follow your intuition and get the stress out of the way.
Now, another topic that you talk about is toxic money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what exactly is toxic money, and how is that related to debt, or is that something else?
No, toxic money is, I'm just getting my sheet of paper here. So toxic money is money that has an emotional attachment to it. So this is when not everybody has toxic money, and this might be that somebody's receiving alimony, and the person who's paying the alimony plays with it. Like it's like they're dependent on it, and they might pay them late, or they might there's certain conditions that go along with it. So that's toxic. It's so some people like that won't make more money because it might be a lawsuit or something going on that is happening that if you make X more money than X, you won't receive that money. And so people will start to limit that. So it's money that has an unhealthy relationship with that's not good. Yeah. Or it might be a parent who controls you with their money. If you don't act this way, or if you don't do this, then I'm taking you out of the will. I'm going to disinherit you. That's toxic money.
Makes sense. Well, thanks a lot for sharing your story so far and the explanations that you've shared with us. So based on what you shared, what is that one action step that you'd like to recommend for our listeners today?
Be compassionate with yourself. I think just to love your inner child and be compassionate that, you have some beliefs and some thoughts that are not true, that are driving your life, and you need to find those and know that you are so much more powerful and loving than your giving yourself credit for right now.
So Action Tribe, to access the show notes for today's episode, visit my7chakras.com/210. That's my7chakras.com/210. And before moving on, let's listen to a word from our sponsor. Explore the vast traditions of yoga with the Gaia original series Yogic Paths. Filmed across India, the 13-episode series captures the beauty of mystical Indian landscapes and never-before-seen ashrams while taking the viewer on a journey through the many traditions of yoga. While the practice of physical postures called asanas is most well known in the West, understanding the full scope of this rich and varied tradition gives meaning and power to the yoga that we know today. Action Tribe, since you're listening to this show, it's clear that you are interested in topics such as chakras, yoga, and self-realization, and you know exactly where to go for audio content and interviews. And I sure hope you feel this way about our show, My 7 Chakras. But where do you go if you want a streaming TV video service with the same values and similar content? The answer is Gaia.com. To start watching this show, The Yogic Paths, as well as get your first month at Gaia for just 99 cents, visit Gaia.com/My 7 Chakras. That's GAIA.com/My SEVENCHAKRAS. Action Tribe, if you are having fun so far, learning about money, learning about our blogs, learning about our relationship with money, then I'm so glad that you are. If you're new to this show, then I want you to know that our community is called Action Tribe because we believe in the power of taking action. And taking action doesn't only mean physical action. Action is also mental, because thoughts, as we're learning, thoughts are things and thoughts are powerful. And when we take action, we're bound to make mistakes. We're bound to maybe go down the wrong road or sometimes end up disappointing some people. So it's important to think about taking action as an experiment, because no matter what happens, we're always learning something. But always remember to trust your inner voice, because that voice knows what is best for you and for the universe. And if you learn to trust your intuition, you'll find out that the universe will always send you good things, even though the good things might be in disguise of a challenge or an obstacle. And if you persist, you will taste the fruit of glory. And as T.D. Jakes once said, "But I think my mistakes became the chemistry for my miracles. I think that my tests became my testimonies." So Marilyn, thank you so much for sharing all those amazing things with us today. As on today, what is your life's calling?
What is my life's calling? To stop needless suffering and to raise up the energy of highly sensitives into superheroes of today with their superpowers.
Love that. I'm sure many of our listeners are really inspired, especially ones that are sensitive, that are intuitive, and that are looking for ways to transform their perceived weakness to a superpower. So, and with that, we've arrived at the very last round, which is called the wisdom round. My first question is, what is the best advice that someone has ever given you in just one sentence?
Invest in yourself.
Name a personal habit that keeps you going.
Meditation, daily.
And I know I asked you this question last time as well, but that was about a year and a half back. But as on today, what is your morning routine like?
Yeah, and it's totally different. I wake up, I do a 20-minute meditation, and then I say sutras after that, and then I open, charge, and balance all my chakras, and then I get up and I drink about 20 ounces of water, and make my breakfast, and think I'm missing something, but that's pretty much. And then I head into my office. But I come in after. So I drink my water, and then I come into my office and I ring a chime. I have a chime. I do my chimes and I light an incense, and I let that fill the room and clear the room, my office, while I'm making my breakfast. So it's all.
So name a book.
A book with, how about Tapping into Wealth by Margaret Lynch, which has a lot to do with what I was just sharing with you guys.
Tapping into Wealth by Margaret Lynch, right?
Correct.
Got it.
She was my teacher in learning a lot of this, so I highly recommend that book to people.
Action Tribe, I know many of you love reading the books that we recommend on our show, and many of you also purchase them as soon as you hear them shared on the show. And I want to remind you that Audible.com is offering Action Tribe one free audio book download with a free 30-day trial, so that you can get to check out their great service. If you don't know already, Audible has over 180,000 titles to choose from for your different devices, Android, Kindle, iPhone. And the titles include bestsellers like The Chakra System by Anadia Judith, Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda, and A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. To download your free book and start listening right away, go to audibletrial.com/MSC. Once again, that's AUDIBLE, audibletrial.com/MSC, so that you can start listening to your favorite book. So Marilyn, thank you so much for joining us once again on My 7 Chakras. Tell us something that you're grateful right now for, and tell us the best way we can find you.
Thank you, AJ. And I'm grateful for you. As I was talking in the beginning, I love your audience and your audience. The people who have reached out to me and just to talk even have been wonderful. And so I'm grateful for all that you're doing in the world, and I'm grateful for this opportunity to be sharing with you and inspiring the world.
And your website link?
Oh, I'm sorry. So it's MarilynO'Malley.com, and that's MarilynO'Malley.com.
Awesome. We'll have that in the show notes. Thank you so much once again for coming on our show, talking to us about power of money, or the energy of money, and the limitations that blocks bring with them, and how we can clear those blocks away, and also taking us one step closer to a human revolution.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for listening.
You were listening to My 7 Chakras. Go to mysevenchakras.com. Download your free gift, get inspired, and take action. Transform your life today.